So MS Now decided to go to a swing district in Pennsylvania to talk to a bunch of Trump supporters about how they're feeling about all of this winning that they're doing, especially at the gas pump, which, as we've been talking about, gas prices have been going through the roof as the oil market on a global level has been spiking rapidly. I saw a report just today where crude oil has gone over $110 a barrel. So a lot of them are going to give your typical pre-recorded response as Trump supporters, but there is one that's a little bit of a surprise, so I want to talk about that one as well. But let's get into this clip and then I'll react to a little bit.
I'm in Millersburg, Pennsylvania. The reason I'm here is it's a swing district, Pennsylvania's 10th district in a swing state. President Trump won this district by about 5 points, but the local congressman, Scott Perry, is in danger of losing in the midterms. And we wanted to talk to people about their feelings about gas prices, about the war. You mentioned Pennsylvania's average gas price, about $3.76 a gallon right now. We went to the cheapest place around, $3.54.9 a gallon here, and talked to folks. Better you hear from them than from me about how they're feeling.
Let's roll the tape.
The decision to strike Iran.
It was a great decision. I think somebody else should have done it a couple of years ago, the last 3 other presidents.
Are you willing to pay higher prices at the pump if that's the cost?
Yeah, I'm willing to pay a little more, yeah.
What do you think about the war?
I think he's doing the right thing. In the long run, it's going to help us out because if they get nuclear weapons, we might not even be here in a couple of years. So I think he's doing a good job.
Is it worth the rise in the price of gas?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah, I think so. It's definitely worth it to pay more for gasoline because Iran might, in a couple of years, have a nuke. I'm willing to bomb innocent children in schools and bomb hospitals and bomb over 20,000 buildings and kill innocent civilians and wreck an entire region and destroy all of our military bases and destroy our relationship with every ally we have around the world. Yeah, because, Iran might attack us at some point. Even though it has been proven that Iran did not have nukes, we're not planning on making nukes. This is a total lie. This is Iraq all over again. This is weapons of mass destruction all over again. But these people are lemmings, and they will believe whatever they are told. And if they're told, oh my God, Iran might have nukes, we have to go in there right now, they're going to go, well, yeah, I'm willing to pay more at the gas pump and literally for every other good that I have to buy because oil affects the price of everything. I'm willing to pay more for some BS reason that they can't even prove. Here, let's go on.
What do you think about the U.S. decision to go into Iran?
I think we got to do what we got to do to keep this country safe. So, and if it means paying a little bit more in gas right now to keep everybody safe, then that's what we got to do. And eventually they'll come back down.
Okay, so a lot of these people, again, they're supportive of the war. They don't care about the gas prices because apparently this has to keep us safe. So, whatever, we'll pay a little bit more because that's what they're telling us is the real reason. But this last woman is super funny because she has literally no filter. So he's going to ask her what she thinks. Here, let's take a look.
If you could say something to President Trump and he was going to hear you right now, what would it be?
You are a worthless pile of
And you voted for him how many times?
3 times. That was my bad. Apparently, I'm an idiot.
You are a worthless pile of shit. Nice. I love that made it onto the mainstream media. And then she follows up to say that, apparently she's an idiot. Yeah, not going to disagree there. You triple trumped. And here's the thing that I find so fascinating because this isn't just with this, but this is just a problem with Republicans writ large, is that they don't actually care about an issue until it affects them personally. And now it's affecting her personally. So now she's pissed off, right? Trump has been a comically corrupt criminal for his entire life, okay? And if you voted for Trump the first time, I might give you a pass, okay? He was a bit of a wild card. Nobody really liked Hillary Clinton. Some people said, all right, let's roll the dice on this guy. And we found out that, he was the worst president in modern American history during his first term. So if you voted for him a second time, and by the way, the first time, people knew that he was caught on tape saying, like, I grab him by the pussy, I don't even wait. People knew that he had bankrupted casinos. People knew that he was, using his charity to steal from people. People knew that he had a fraudulent university, and they still voted for him. Okay, so that's Trump 1.0. Maybe, possibly, all right, I'll give you a pass, whatever. All right, you voted for him a second time, and this is after he used 4 years where his only legislative accomplishment was giving a giant tax cut to himself and all of his rich buddies and deregulating things and getting rid of like clean air and clean water protections and doing this whole like, I'm going to build the wall and Mexico's going to pay for it, except they didn't ever actually do that. So if you voted for him a second time and you saw all of the many failures of the first Trump administration, again, he was cartoonishly corrupt during his first term. He used the office to enrich himself. He kept all of his businesses. He was supposed to put it in a blind trust. He didn't do that. He enriched himself off of his hotels and his golf courses. He flew to all of his own properties on Air Force One, which was paid for by the American taxpayer. So he's using American taxpayer money to pay himself through his businesses. And you voted for him a second time. Okay. Literally, I have zero patience for that. But you triple trumped. Which means that you voted for Trump after he was impeached twice, 2 times, after there were 91 felony charges leveled against him, after he was found guilty on 34, or liable, whatever they call it. He was found liable on 34 felony counts of tax fraud, real estate fraud, business fraud, bank fraud, all of that. After he tried to literally stop democracy. He tried to overturn the results of the 2020 election. After he started an insurrection, after his supporters stormed the Capitol and tried to hang his own vice president, you voted for him again. And now the only reason that she's mad is because the price of gas has gone up. It wasn't all of that other stuff, right? It wasn't the fact that he's a racist. It wasn't the fact that he's a misogynist. It wasn't the fact that he's an adjudicated rapist. It wasn't the fact that he's a criminal fraudster, that he ripped off his own supporters to the tune of like over $250 million, I believe it was, for that whole like Stop the Steal campaign, like help me raise money to stop the steal. And then what happened? All that money, he pocketed it. None of that, right? She's mad because the price of gas has gone up. It is amazing how self-centered some people are. And the fact that all of these other things may not have affected her personally, right? Like, she's not an immigrant. She doesn't care, right? But the fact that her price at the pump is now higher because of what Trump did, now she feels like an idiot. Now she thinks he's a piece of shit. I mean, it is... And this is the reason why we can't function as a country, is because we have people who just like are totally incapable of critical thinking, and they're totally incapable of like reflecting on other things outside of themselves. And for the record, I don't think that she's representative of most MAGA voters, right? Most MAGA mouth breathers are still ride or die with Trump no matter what. If you triple Trumped, you will not leave him no matter what, for all the reasons that I already said. Like, you voted for him 3 times knowing all of the stuff that we knew from his first term, and then all of the subsequent things that came out in the 4 years of Joe Biden. If you voted for him again after all of that, and you can say, I didn't like Kamala as a candidate, right? I didn't like Kamala as a candidate. I didn't like Joe Biden as a candidate. They were light years better than Donald Trump. I mean, light years better. It's not even close. But since she is in a swing district, she may be representative of a few more people there than perhaps elsewhere. But I think, as far as Trump's numbers go, there is somewhere between 25 and 35% of the country that are ride or die with Trump no matter what. And we know that because this is the worst it's ever been for him. There's literally like the worst it has ever been for, I think, any president at this point in their term. He's just over a year in. He's at 36% approval. And I've only seen it go down. I've only seen it go down. So if this is his floor, it might be, I don't know, it might go a little bit lower, but I have to think that his number is literally the only people left are the diehard MAGA mouth breathers. He has lost everybody that was in between, any kind of independent, anybody who was like, maybe I don't really care about elections or whatever, but I like him because of X, Y, and Z. But at the end of the day, this is what you get for voting for a person who literally has no idea what he's doing. Like, Republicans in general cannot govern their way out of a wet paper bag, and every single time they get into office, every single time, they cut taxes for the ultra wealthy and billionaires, they cut regulations, and they start wars and crash the economy. Those are the things that Republicans do every single time they get into office. And so you shouldn't be surprised that this is the result. I'm a little surprised it happened this fast, but you shouldn't be surprised.